Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue or Southeast Asia TV. You probably follow the news that our Prime Minister, Samdech Techo Hun Sen, have recently hosted the second Mekong Lanchang Summit in Phnom Penh, followed by the official state visit of Premier Li Keqiang from China. And it's quite interesting because from the meeting, the topic of cassava, developing cassava, come to the discussion. And it's quite very interesting in terms of development potential. So I thought the session, I have a friend, Michael, whose company is very involved in the cassava industry, and this would be a good opportunity to come and have a nice dialogue on how can developing cassava industry could help, number one, deliver on the government commitment to help lift up the people in the rural area through development of this commodity, agriculture commodity. But at the same time, how can we, in terms of pushing the industrial development policy to use this agriculture commodity, moving up the value into processing, for example, ethanol, something like this. I'm not an expert in agriculture, so I thought we could have a good exchange. So Michael, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I'd like to give you a few minutes to introduce yourself, and then after that we can jump to the subject.
Okay. Yes, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michael C. I am a Singaporean-born Chinese, but moving to US for my studies. So I came back to the ASEAN quite early in the 1985 when I came back from US to work as a consultant to Asian Development Bank. So I was quite involved with the agro, area. So doing some agro-related business. So I was in the agro business quite early, and then I came back to Hong Kong, and then we start my own business. And my job for the past 10 years has been on the capital market side, working for Hong Kong listed companies. So right now I'm the CEO of Green Leader Holdings Limited, which is a Hong Kong listed company listed on the main board. Our stock code is 0061. So our focus right now is to look at the Cambodian agro business area. Like the name of the company, we recently changed to Green Leader. So we want to be a leader in the green projects, especially in Cambodia.
Great, Michael. Well, to Cambodia, we plant a lot of cassava.
Yes.
But many of the farmers think that cassava is for consumption. But yes, you can consume, but not all cassava are consumable, right?
Well, the cassavas, there are different types of cassavas. In a layman term, they are what we call the sugar cassava, which is for human consumption.
Yes.
And then you have the bitter cassava. Bitter cassava is because on the skin of the cassava, there's a chemical that if you eat it and you don't remove it, cook it properly, you get poison. So that's the difference. But most of the plantation in Cambodia are the bitter cassava type.
I see.
Which is used mainly for the processing of cassava into starch, or they dry it into chips, and then later to be processed into ethanol.
Yes. Well, Cambodia, in terms of agricultural development, we're post-crisis, 20-some years ago, we start moving into basic agriculture commodity like rice, right? Because rice, we need to eat rice every day. We export now. And slowly we start to move to other crop. And I think cassava is quite recent, if I can recall. It's not something that we plan at the, I would say, commercial or industrial level. In your survey in Cambodia, where are they mostly planted?
Well, I talked to the Ministry of Agriculture, and we learned that the production of cassava actually has been on a pretty exponential growth for the past few years. So right now, according to the data from the ministry, there is about 600,000 hectares of land
Okay.
growing cassava.
Yes.
And every year there's 14 million tons of fresh cassava being produced.
Yes.
So in a way, it's a country that has produced a lot of raw material,
I see.
quote unquote.
Okay.
But when we study the market, it seems that these raw material are being all purchased up by the neighbor countries.
Okay.
For example, Thai and Vietnam.
Vietnam, yeah.
So Cambodia is sitting on a lot of raw material,
Yes.
but without any further processing. So this is where we find the opportunity,
Yes.
for us as a company to come in to develop the industry,
Yes.
on further processing.
So, I mean, cassava, yes, it's for some for consumption, some for industrial purpose. In that whole value chain of cassava, what can we possibly, I know of ethanol, but I'm pretty sure there's other, as you start to, I would say process, there are residue, there are, I would say like excess, waste. What can you do with all of that? In the whole circle, life circle of a cassava processing.
Well, first of all, when you look at the whole processing, what we call the product chain,
Yes.
As a responsible, company to come in to do this, we look at what we call sustainability.
Yes, okay.
So, to get from the start, Cambodia probably is a very suitable country to plant cassava.
Yeah.
We go from the upstream to the downstream, right? And the reason is because the distinct weather. We have 6 months of dry season and 6 months of rainy season.
Okay.
So that is suitable for planting the cassava because you don't need irrigations. You harvest the cassava when it's the dry season.
Okay.
And the sun will help you to dry it, so you don't need to have any, external heat or whatever
Yes.
to dry the cassava chips.
Yes.
That's why we produce a lot of cassava chips in a very low cost.
Yes.
And then, during the rainy season, you start to plant, and the weather will take care of itself by the rain.
I see.
So it's perfect. That's why I think cassava is now the second most important crop in Cambodia after rice.
Less maintenance
Less maintenance.
as compared to, say, rubber trees, for example.
Yes,
right?
less maintenance, easy to plant.
Yes.
Is a 6 to 8 month crop. So you can do this every year.
Yes, yes.
And right now the farmer is planted easy.
Yes.
Okay, so this is it has the basis to sustain what we call a processing industry.
Yield wise, if you compare to other commodity, right? If you go to, well, not every soil can be planted into rice. Can plant rice, right? So soil condition matter. But other industrial crop like rubber, if you compare, if I'm a farmer, I have some land. Does it make sense for me yield wise and revenue wise?
Right. Well, first of all, as I said, cassava is a yearly crop.
Okay.
You can plant every year.
Yes, yes.
So every year that you plant it, in the beginning of the rainy season, when it comes to dry season, you harvest.
Yes.
Right. I think from the study that we have, and then going back to your questions, most of the cassavas are being grown in certain provinces, which are big. Battambang is one.
Yeah.
Tabung Kamong.
Yeah.
You have my pronunciation is not right. Yeah, Batamenge.
Yes.
Otamenge, Pusat.
Yes.
Trenting,
Yeah. String Trang.
Yes, and
yes.
these areas,
Yes.
they produce a lot. And by the geographic distribution, you can see that the Battambang area, most of the cassava, when the farmer harvests them, they dry into chips. And it's being sold to Thailand. So when you cross the Thailand border, there are hundreds of processing plants. That's depending on this raw material.
Wow.
Okay, so on the let's say the Batamenge area, when they're being produced,
Yes.
the fresh cassava is being shipped to Vietnam, where again there are
All
a
the
lot
way
of
from Batamenge.
yes,
Go all the way going down.
Batamenge will go to Thailand.
Yes. Yeah.
From
Tabung Kamong
will go to
Vietnam.
on the eastern side.
Yes.
The provinces, maybe
Yes.
200-300 kilometers sometimes.
Yes.
You go through the border to the Vietnam side, where again there are a lot of processing plants. So the farmers actually are not getting the best
Yes.
of the value of
Yes,
the crops. Okay, because you can imagine the people that processed, both in Thailand or in Vietnam, they went through what we call middle person. They come to the farmers.
Exactly.
You know, at the height of the harvesting, so they offer them a price that is very low. But the farmers have no choice, so they have to sell. And then the cassavas will have to go through hundreds of kilometers of transportation costs. Going to the processing plant. So, you know, that means the farmers are getting squeezed on the price. Okay, that's one area that, you know, the farmers are not making a lot of money. Now, secondly, you know, there's not that much what we call mechanized farming because the farmers are very small. And they don't plow the land. They don't put fertilizers. So the yield on a per hectare basis is not as high. Okay, but farmers do it because it's easy for them. They have the raw, they have the land, they have the labor. It's less, you know, tentative than what you call as a rubber or a rice. You just plant there and leave it alone. So it still makes some kind of economic sense. Right? But we can improve that.
But the margin of improvement is tremendous. If you can mechanize
we look
farming.
at it both ways. Two quick ways to help the farmers make more money. Because if the farmers make more money, then, you know, we will get more raw material. Right? So one of the way to help the farmer is to help them to increase the yield. So this will be something that we can, if we have a factory at the site, then we can have contract farming with the farmers. So we sign contract with the farmers. They know that, you know, by the time they harvest, they can get us the crop and we'll pay them.
Right? And you can pay better because you don't have to incur the cost of transporting 300 kilometers.
There's no middle person, there's no transportation cost. We get fresher cassava for our factory. So it's a win-win situation, right? So that's one. Two is we can also bring in some technology. Just simple technology.
Really?
You know, help them
even cassava, there's technology.
Even cassava, right? You know, you need to help them to plow the land. So put the ridges up. So the cassava can grow more. Give them some fertilizers in advance, and get back the funding at the end when they sell the cassavas to us. So in that way, rather than a normal yield of, let's say, a hectare, you got 12-15 tons, you could easily improve that to 20 tons, 25 tons. Right? So imagine for the country wide, you know, if you are doing 14 million tons right now, and if you improve 40%, that's a lot of cassava. And that's a lot to the farmers. And that's a lot to the local economy.
Well, Michael, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to delve a bit more into this contract farming.
Sure.
Michael, let's focus a bit on contract farming because I think this have tremendous potential. Because number one, it brings a critical mass. You're not dealing at a household level, 3 people in a family, you know, 15 family. No, you're talking about, you know, huge collective mass that can deliver, you know, adequate quantity for industrial processing, right? But also, I think it's important also to think, how do we get also international financial institutions like the World Bank, ADB, the IFC, the IFAD, you know, these are organizations that are supporting through their program, that sort of thing. So anyway, let's focus first on contract farming, and then, you know, later on we can move to the potential support that this international financial institution can step in.
Right. I actually had a few opportunities to talk to IFC. I talked to them a few times. So from the conversation, I learned that they, for the past 5 years, has been having a big support for the rice industry. Basically, the rice industry, what they're facing 5 years ago is what cassava is facing now.
Interesting.
Because Cambodia produces a lot of rice. And they do not have processors. So the rice, with the husk, usually are being bought up by the Thais and the Vietnamese. So when it goes to these two countries, they process it themselves, and then it exported to worldwide as Thai fragrant rice and Vietnamese fragrant rice. So World Bank did, bring a big lead into helping the ministries, the farmers to develop. First by, I think, introducing what we call the contract farming. So they also have helped put in some money to do the policies, like set the standard right. So now Cambodia has a standard for export of rice before they don't have, because
Yes, yes.
they do not export.
Yes.
So through this effort, we can see that contract farming is very big in the sense that the farmers actually need to know that whatever they plant, they can sell
Yes.
at a fixed price.
Yeah.
Okay, if they have this assurance
Yeah.
from somebody that comes in, that
It had to be credible, though.
yeah, incredible, right? So the best way to show the farmers the credit is you build a processing plant
Yes.
right at
Right
their
there.
vicinities.
Yes, yes.
Okay, if they are only 30, 40 kilometers from the plant or as close as 10 kilometers,
Yes.
and they know that the plant is working every day,
Yes.
then they are assured that
Assured.
if they plant something, somebody's going to buy it.
Yes.
And this somebody is a plant right there that people have already invested.
Yes.
So that is a key part. But contract farming is not just signing the contract. If you look into the model deeper,
Yeah.
actually there are a lot of successful models of contract farming
Okay.
worldwide, especially
Yes.
in China
Yeah.
when they first started. So what you give to the farmer is not just an assurance of I'll pay you so much.
Yes.
I think it's an assurance of buying in addition to assistance. In if you could assist them to do better,
Yes.
either by teaching them a better way to farm,
Yes.
even by extending them some money, or even what we plan about is to extend to them, some what we call agricultural service.
Yes.
For example, we bought 120 tractors.
Yes. Okay.
Into Cambodia.
Yeah.
So we could work with an association in the area.
Okay.
We probably, as a listed company, be very difficult to deal with a per farmer basis.
Yes.
But I think we could deal with the ministry. The ministry has the MAFF.
Yes.
They have departments at the local province.
Yes.
So we deal with the provincial MAFF.
Yes.
And then they do have what we call a contract farming division.
Okay.
So we deal with the division, and then maybe division gang, together some hundreds of farmers who have land. And then if they put the land together big enough, then we can put in our tractors to go in there
Yes.
to plow the land
Okay.
all together.
In a form of helping them improve the productivity.
Yes.
Because in this case, plowing matter.
Yes, plowing matters. The reason plowing matters is if you don't plow the land and
Yes.
you just stick the
Yes.
the saplings into
Yeah,
the land,
yeah.
then the cassava cannot grow freely. So it restricted them.
It
right?
restricted
So
size,
it's,
yeah, the yield.
you put it on a very tight,
Yes, yeah.
close.
Yes.
You cannot grow.
Yeah.
So plowing it and making ridges makes that the plant can grow better.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But this means that the farmers have tractors.
Yes.
And when you are a farmer that only have 1 hectare of land, 2 hectares of land,
Yes.
you cannot afford to go and get a tractor.
Yes.
Now, but if we could, in an association, that we can form together with the government, with MAFF
Yes.
help,
As a
as
sort
an
of like institutional
association,
guarantor.
yes, right. Then maybe we can round up 200-300 farmers' land,
Okay. Yeah.
make it into 1,000 hectares. Then it becomes meaningful for us to go in there to plow the land for
Yes,
everybody.
yes, yes.
Of course, we're going to have a charge,
Yes.
but the
But still-
economy
still.
of return.
Yes, yeah.
That if I plow for you and I extend you some fertilizer,
Yes.
you're going to end up making more money.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then at the same time, learning how to do this plantation the right way.
Yes. Okay.
So the key for the contract farming is, like I said, will be more than just the contract to buy.
Okay, okay.
But you have the services.
Yes,
Then
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win
because
situation,
if
yes.
if the farmer get more return from a plowed field,
Yeah.
Number one, they will get more stem, right?
Yes.
And then you have more volume, right?
You have more volume, the farmer makes more money.
Yes, yes.
So anybody that comes to the farmer and say, look, I want to buy some fresh cassava from you
Yes.
to go to Vietnam, it's not going to work anymore.
Yes,
because
exactly.
the farmer is going to say, wait a minute, I already got a steady buyer.
Yes.
I have all the technology that they can support to us.
Yes.
And I'm making more money.
Yes,
so
exactly.
go away. I don't need
And I have less work because plowing is already done.
Yes, it's already done.
Yes. Okay.
So this is something that I see the importance
Yes.
of doing a contractual farming. It actually helped the farmers, but in the same time, secured our factory.
Yes,
because
indeed.
when we are going to set up a factory, we are
What's the minimum size of land to provide raw material to justify the viability of a factory?
yes,
Yeah,
that's a good question.
A minimum small factory.
That's a good
right?
question.
Yeah.
The economy, the most economic scale for setting up a factory, to us is 100,000 tons of starch
100,000 ton of starch
a year.
a year,
production.
which
Okay.
require how much in
4 tons of fresh produce 1 tons of starch. So if we're going to set up a factory, so the factory will take about 20 hectares of land.
Okay.
So everything is like a module.
Yeah.
You do one,
Yeah.
you can do 10.
Yes. Okay.
Because you don't need to change.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The equipment, the processing line is the same. Okay. So we need about 20 hectares of land.
Yes.
Where we can have access to water,
Yes.
to electricity.
Yes.
Maybe close to a major transportation
Yes. Okay.
area.
Okay.
And then with that, then we need a production of 400,000 tons of fresh cassava within a 50-kilometer radius.
Okay.
Okay. So once we can find an area like this,
Yes.
we can go in there and set it up.
Exactly.
Okay. So with that, then all the vicinity, whether it's 400,000 tons, 500,000 tons of fresh cassava,
Yeah.
can be sold to us.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether you go fetch them or then they can deliver.
They will. It's
yeah.
easy for them to deliver because now you're not talking about a big truck.
Yes.
Going to the border.
Yes.
And going through the border
Yes.
to another
Yes.
country.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The farmers can use the small roller tiller
Yeah.
or small transportation vehicles and
Yes.
bring it to our factory.
Yes.
On a daily basis.
And with this model, you can be more, I would say, nimble in terms you're not stuck with a particular geographical site. You can be in Tabong Khmum, you could be in Pusat, you can be in Steng Trang,
Yes.
and have modular operation.
Yes. Because when we started to look into this, which is about a year ago,
Yes.
we did a very detailed research on where the productions are.
Okay.
For example, in Bettabon, where are these patches?
Yes.
So we know when we select the site, we know where to go. That's
Yes.
one. Two, with the 14 million tons of cassava being
Yes.
produced every year,
Yes.
we comfortably can set up 10 factories within the next 3 years.
Okay.
So each factory is 100,000 tons.
Yes.
So 10 factories, 1 million tons.
Yeah.
It's not a small feast,
Yes.
but we have confidence that we can do it because, first of all, you set up one, and then you can set up 10.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's just a duplication of.
The technology is not that sophisticated.
The technology is not as sophisticated as the management of the factory. And I think that's where the key is.
Yes,
a lot
yes.
of people misunderstood that,
I can just set up.
I can just set up a factory and then I can run.
Yes.
No, because the processing, is one thing. The management, and how do you do it in a sense that you can produce a top quality product.
Okay.
That's actually where the know-how
That's where the
is.
value is. That's where the
value
know-how is.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is where we as an investor, as a listed company,
Yes.
will have to then, depends
Yes.
on our strategic partner.
Yes. Who are your strategic partner here?
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Of course, yeah. It's this. We're a listed company. Everything
yeah.
I'm telling you
Okay.
is on our website.
It's on our
Okay.
website,
I'm not
okay.
giving you anything that is inside information that we haven't talked about.
Yes. Yes.
So we look at cassava. There's two the product that
Yeah.
can be processed.
Yes.
One, of course, is the starch.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're working with the Guangxi Agro Business Group, which is one of the largest agro business group in
Yes.
China.
Yeah.
And because they're in Guangxi, their proximity to Cambodia,
Yeah.
weather's also the same. Crops are almost the same,
Yeah.
so they're a perfect match for us. And under the Guangxi Agro Business Group, there's a group called the Mingyang.
Yeah. Mingyang.
Mingyang.
Yeah.
Mingyang Chemicals.
Yes.
So Mingyang is the largest cassava starch processor in China.
Yes.
Because we can only come up with the investment, we know how to put the projects together.
Yeah.
We can deal with the local
Yes.
government and
Yeah.
everything. But as far as how to design the plant and how to manage it,
Yes.
we have signed a strategic alliance with
Yes.
the Mingyang Group,
Yes.
where they will help us to do the design.
Yes.
And at the end, they will send people over to help us to manage the processing.
Yes. Yes.
And this is where the processing, is necessary to make it into a top product.
Oh, great. So I mean, so I think you got it covered. Well, of course, as a list company, you got to be accountable for your shareholder, for your investor. But so you have on one side the production infrastructure, which is the farmer, the Ministry of Agriculture, their provincial department to help you get this whole institutional structure in the form of contract farming, right? And then you have on the other side, upstream, the the what I call the expertise in terms of industrialization of this sort of thing here. So you combine the two, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure that as you go up the production value chain, it's a lot of waste. What can you do with all this biomass? That sort of thing, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of spillover from just the starch itself.
Yes.
Right.
Well, the good thing about processing cassava is sustainability.
Yes.
It's always something that you can recycle and reuse.
Yes, yes.
On the starch side,
Yes.
once you process the starch, the wastewater that comes out, you have to treat them.
Yes. Michael, I forgot I have to take another break. Okay, when we come back, you continue on this one.
Okay.
All right. All right, Michael, sorry to interrupt. Okay, you were saying that as you start processing, you need water, right?
Yes. Well, we need water, but there's a lot of wastewater that comes out.
Wastewater coming
Yes.
out. Okay.
So the wastewater needs to be treated.
Yes.
That's top priority to us.
Yes.
Because the
Environment
is important.
Yes, yes.
Okay. We do not just dump this water into
your
the
company's
river or
green
whatever.
leader. Okay.
Yeah, we have to do this. But the thing is this: the wastewater that comes out, if we do the fermentation right,
Yes.
Usually methane gas will be a byproduct. So the
okay.
methane gas we can collect.
Yes.
And then use it on our boiler. So the boiler can then,
Generate energy.
heat
And
go back to drying the cassava starch.
Okay.
So you don't waste that.
Yeah. It's a full
It's
circle.
a full circle.
Yes.
Now after that, when you take the methane out and it's being fermented, then the waste comes out. If you dry them, it's a good form of fertilizer. So the
You go back to the soil.
Go back to the soil.
Okay.
And if we put a plant right in the vicinity of 400,000 tons of production, then these can go back to the farmers as fertilizers. So if you do it right, then the cycle is being completed. And then you can, use basically everything that comes. So this is what we call, we put it into the ground, you take it from the ground, and you return it back to the nature.
Okay.
So it's very green.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So this is a way to also reduce costs in terms of operation as well,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the farmer will have access to
fertilizer.
Organic fertilizer.
Organic fertilizers.
Organic
That's right.
fertilizers. That's
That's
quite
right.
interesting.
That's right.
So from your perspective, here I'm go back a bit to what Premier Liu Keqiang and my Prime Minister have excitedly talked, was that Cambodia have so much potential,
Right.
and that China is ready, willing, and able to buy product like ethanol. But ethanol is the next level, right, of processing, right?
Well, ethanol is a different processing.
Processing, okay.
It's a different...
But cassava based though.
Cassava based.
Okay.
So ethanol is another product that you can do besides starch.
Yes.
So you either process into ethanol, you process into starch.
Your starch, okay,
Right.
okay.
Ethanol has its own big demand right now.
Yes.
Just because that now people want clean energy.
Yes.
So ethanol does not carry carbon emissions.
Okay.
So that's one way to do this. So we as a company also look into developing ethanol plants.
Yes.
But for
At some
us,
point.
At some point.
Yeah.
But ethanol plant needs bigger investment. And it also takes longer to build.
Yes.
So for us to come in, we as a listed company, we want to look into where we can start to make the impact.
Yes,
that
exactly.
the farmers feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're buying raw material from the farmers.
Yes, okay.
They don't really care whether you turn it into ethanol or in starch.
Or starch,
right?
okay.
But ethanol is something that I think the recent Prime Minister is also excited, is because if you look at the neighboring country, Thai has a E10 policy. E10 means ethanol 10%.
Yes.
So
in the gasoline.
In the gasoline.
And that's why the taxi are running on gas, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have that. Vietnam, I think, has started at E5.
E5, okay.
And they will slowly going back to E10, right?
Yes.
So everybody around ASEAN are looking into this. But the key is you do not want to have a ethanol policy.
Yes.
But you have to buy the ethanol from other countries.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
don't make sense.
Exactly. That's why Thailand also manufacture a lot of ethanol.
Yes.
For their own use.
Yes.
So I'm sure when the Prime Minister, when they look at this, if we can build a factory in Cambodia, let's say by doing 100,000 tons of ethanol,
Yes.
that would basically be enough for Cambodia to have an E5 policy.
Okay,
Or maybe
E5,
E10 policy.
Yes, yes.
I think that would have to work together hand in hand.
Yes.
We as a private sector, work with the public sector.
Yeah,
And to develop
at E10, that's a maximum, right? That in the gas.
Oh no, in the EU country, you have E60, E85.
Wow.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But of course, that would also have to depend on, how
the
readily
supply.
available.
Exactly. How readily
that you have.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right. For information, China is coming up with an E10 policy.
Okay.
And it's already been announced by the time 2020.
Yes, yes.
So-
It's part of the climate change, the Paris Accord, right?
Yes. And you look at that and you say, oh, okay, what does it mean? Okay, now China every year consumes about 450 million tons of gasoline.
Wow.
So E10 means that approximately 45 million tons of ethanol.
That's right.
China do not produce that much ethanol. So if we do this
Yes.
in
Ready
Cambodia,
access.
they have ready access, and if Cambodia's policy is not up yet,
Yes.
that whatever we produce can easily be absorbed by the Chinese market.
So, it's not supposed to be a trade secret or anything.
Yeah.
But would you consider, would Green Leader in the future, medium term, consider this as a possible viability for branching out, also have an ethanol production in the future?
Yes. If you look at our announcement
Yes.
on the website,
Yes.
last year we already also signed another strategic alliance agreement with a company called Henan Tianguan.
Henan Tianguan, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tianguan, Tianguan.
Yes.
Tianguan actually is the largest manufacturer of ethanol using cassava. Their cassava chips actually was being bought from Thailand and shipped all the way into Henan, which is a very inward,
Yes.
province.
Yes.
And they can still produce.
Okay.
So if we could do this
Yes.
in Cambodia, having the raw material at our factory,
Yes.
our production cost is much, much lower.
Yes. Yeah. You're more competitive.
Yes, and then with that, again, we are relying on the technology from Henan Tianguan. We're relying on the management of Henan Tianguan. So it's again another strategic alliances that we can count on them to help us where we do our best in the investment platform, in the capital market, and also negotiation with the government.
Well, I hope you are putting all this thing here in the context of the Mekong Lanchang, cooperation framework, because basically this mechanism, this Mekong Lanchang cooperation framework, is what bringing a country
Yes.
and China, of course, with the other Mekong country together.
Yes.
There's a strong will to have this cooperation, particularly in the area of I would say, of course, you have the productive capacity, which is the industrial side, but don't forget, at the end of the day, it's all about helping a country lift up the poverty, of the people, right?
Yes, yes.
And if we have, if your company, for example, can is succeeding in your program as you speak, I'm talking about millions of people, a farmer would be benefiting from this, I'd
Yes.
say initiative.
I think this is from my background with ADB and
Yes.
World Bank,
Yes.
that I've worked with them, in my earlier
Yes.
career.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of what we call a PPP, a public-private partnership.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Whereas the government itself is pushing for something to help
Yes.
the people,
Yes.
and we as a private sector to come in with the funding and the technology to help the country to build its policies.
Yes. Yes.
So we're excited. We have this opportunity. It's right here, and we do get the fundings we needed. Through our listed platform.
Yes.
We have all the technical support.
Yes.
From the right institution from China, who has
Yes.
been doing this for the past
Yes.
30, 40 years
Yes.
to bring in
Yes.
and to make this flourish. So indeed, we're excited about the Mekong Lanchang Cooperative. I think it provides a platform for us to come in
Yeah.
to really, help the local people, which at the end of the day, if the farmer makes money, we make money.
Yeah. Michael, any multilateral cooperation framework, right, in the Mekong, and we do have quite a bit with Japan, with China. The latest comer is China, but you have with India, with the US, with Korea. All that is great. But at the end of the day, it's still a political cooperation.
Yes.
It boils down to implementation. And I think in this case, having company with a clear vision, and clear capability and clear finance, of course, right? No money, you're gonna do anything. To help develop, concrete project like this will help make the political mechanism a success. And I can tell you that, in the recent summit, our two prime ministers have spoken, spontaneously, right? Very excitingly about the prospect that Cassava can do to help this cooperation framework. So I really hope that wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
Okay, and but I'm glad that you have the political support at the highest level for both countries.
Yes.
Right? Somehow you gotta weave into the Belt and Road and everything.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we can easily fit in there. And I'm glad to hear that you have a strong support from our Minister of Agriculture.
Yes.
Because this is very important. And ultimately, what I really want to see happen is that we can claim that Cassava policy is a success. I was very instrumental in getting the rice policy, and we see now from a 15,000 export before we have the rice policy, we have now 600,000 metric ton, out of which this year China commit to buy 300,000 metric ton, right? So cassava is another commodity, and like I say, Cambodia is still an agriculture country.
Yes.
If we succeed in our agriculture side, I think the poverty angle will be to a large extent supported. So I can only wish you the best. And perhaps we're finishing the program. I'd like to give you a few minutes to last message.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Doctor, for giving me the opportunity to come up here to explain what Green is trying to accomplish. As a responsible investor, coming into Cambodia, other than just being an investor and looking at the profit level, definitely as a listed company, you have responsibility to the shareholders to make money.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, there's a lot of social responsibilities that we need to really look into. The most important, environment. We don't want to come here to really ruin the environment that Cambodia already has. Secondly, I think we are coming in here with the intention to help the local farmers. Okay, to enable them, to give them opportunities to do a better crop, and at the same time make more money. Okay, because if we could help to promote that the farmers level, and you look at countries like China, when they first started, it's from the villages, it's from the rural area, it's from the farmers. If they can have a comfortable life, and they're happy and they're prosperous, then first of all, political environment is very stable.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure that that's something that we are also looking into. We are confident that we're going into a country that we don't have any non-stability. And that we're coming in here and then we do our best to help. So in that way, through what we're doing as an investor, first of all, we help on the farmers level, and secondly, we help on the political level.
Yes.
Hopefully, we could, through this promotion, have a stronger bonding between the two countries. And today it's cassava, but you look at Cambodia, there's a lot of land, there's a lot of labor involved, and right now, besides rice and cassava, there must be other opportunities too. That's why we're not just focusing on cassava. The cassava is a stepping stone for us. It enables us to come in and show the government what we can do. Maybe down the road we have mangoes. Maybe down the road we have nuts. Or others. So that is something that I think that we see the potentials. And we want to be involved on a long-term basis.
Good. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on a short notice. To our program, and I just want to say, perhaps on behalf of the audience, thank you. For me, I learned a lot about this particular commodity. It's amazing how much potential we still have to explore, right? And you rightly say so that today is cassava. Last time Cambodia, it was rice, but there's other commodity, and but we need access to company with the right expertise, because not everybody can do many things. But from the strategic partnership that you have mentioned, a few of these company, I think we're on the right track, and I can only but wish you good luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of the program, and I'm not gonna bother summarizing. I think the discussion is quite rich, and I can just hope that those who are living, particularly in the province, would consider that cassava is a potential crop that can help the government, develop economy, that can help the government contribute to the reduction of poverty, and hopefully provincial administration can also see this sort of strategic partnership with company who can help them develop their province and ultimately develop the country. So on that note, good night.